Fox 61 News First at 4 starts now.
Welcome to this special edition of the Fox 61 News at 4. I'm Jen Bernstein.
I'm Ben Goldman. We are live on social media tonight as UConn is hosting St. John. The game live on Fox 61 right now, which is why we're on social media. We want to get you the latest headlines and also your weather forecast right now at 4. In East Hartford, the old Pratt and Whitney runway, now a mass vaccine distribution site. We'll show you how it works as the state launches Phase 1B.
It is also Martin Luther King Jr. Day, his legacy being celebrated in Connecticut and beyond. We'll show you the mural in Manchester painted in just 3 days.
And Inauguration Day on Wednesday. President-elect Joe Biden set to be sworn in Washington. The latest on security efforts.
But first, let's begin with your forecast. Just in right now, some video here. Viewer Jill in Torrington showing snow falling. As you can see, there's even enough to coat her deck.
But not everybody's getting winter weather here. About a tale of two states, some gray skies, a little bit of blue, but mostly cloudy in Hartford. Different weather all over Connecticut, Jen.
This is true. The sun was shining right before we came in studio. In Simsbury, a few people walking around with coats on, enjoying the weather, though. It was warm enough to get outside today. A lot of people enjoying it. In fact, we're told that Sleeping Giant State Park reached capacity this afternoon. So let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank. Rachel.
Yeah, we have to enjoy those above average temperatures while we can, because I do see a stretch of long-term colder air that will be on the horizon, which we'll talk more about in just a moment. But first, those scattered rain and snow showers that are coming through. 1 minute the sun's out. The next minute, you could have a decent snow shower that's enough to leave a quick coating. And in some areas, it may just be liquid falling from the sky. So a big variation depending on where you live. We're going to start our tour here in New Fairfield. This is northern Fairfield County over through Roxbury. This is heading towards your house in Waterbury, in Berlin. Again, it's not going to amount to too much, and it won't really, muck up your day all that much. But I don't want it to catch you off guard. Coventry over through Mansfield, and that continues up through Pomfret. And it looks like we have another snow shower that's just now moving in. I would say this will continue through about 6 or 7 o'clock tonight. Again, a quick rain or snow shower, maybe even a sleet pellet. And then we're going to dry things out as this disturbance continues to work on through. So here's that future radar, again, heading towards 6, 7 o'clock tonight. And then it's out of here. Meantime, though, it's mild. Temperatures are in the mid-40s in the Hartford area. In Willimantic, 45 the current temperature for the New Haven area, but lows tonight are headed in the 20s. We are going to clear things out, and I think as we head through the day tomorrow, we're partly cloudy. Once again, temperatures above average for Tuesday. And then I think we cool things off as we head into your Wednesday. So here's how this all shakes out. Tomorrow morning, you're waking up with temperatures in the 20s to right around 30 degrees. Here are those partly cloudy skies as we head through the afternoon. So I think it'll be brightest in the morning. Then we'll see those clouds kind of billow up a little bit. Wednesday, another disturbance comes through, and that will bring us the chance for a few scattered either snow showers or light flurries. Again, not going to amount to a whole lot. This is just probably the only thing that we have in the forecast heading through this week. So we're going to talk about it. High temperatures on your Wednesday in the low to mid 30s. Again, a blend of sun and clouds with a chance for a few snowflakes. Now let's take a look at where we go moving forward. Again, in the 30s, this is near average for your Thursday with mostly cloudy skies. Last week, we were talking about the potential for some snow later this week, and it looks like that threat is just not going to come together. Now, after Friday night, a bigger pattern change is on the way, starting this weekend and lasting through a lot of next week. And this is the colder air that's going to have some staying power with, let's say, a week or so of temperatures that'll be below average. Is this unusual? Not at all. We typically see this many times every winter, but just because it's been so warm lately, I think it'll come as a little bit of a shock to the system here. Here's your Shoreline 7-day forecast. Upper 30s for a high on Thursday, low 40s on Friday, and 30s starting this weekend and for quite a bit heading into next week. The question is, can we get the cold at the same time as a storm? That's one thing we'll be keeping an eye on long range. Maybe something Tuesday, but of course that's off the 7-day forecast, so lots of time to keep an eye on things. But again, mainly a quiet week of weather ahead, guys.
All right, Rachel, thank you. We're following some breaking news in New Haven right now. A large police investigation shutting down Dixwell Avenue, a major route. Dave Puglisi live in the Elm City right now. Dave, what's going on? What do you see?
But right now I can tell you police have about 4 blocks blocked off down here on Dixwell Avenue between Dorman Street as well as Goodrich Street, all the way down. You can see that's where most of the investigation is taking place, down on Goodrich Street. We've been talking with some officers here, and we're hearing that Shot Spotter was activated twice, once down there on, as you can see, down Dixwell, closer to the 754 Dixwell Avenue, but also closer to us here, where you can see there are some markers here in the street for some shell casings that are still in the road. Now, right now, things are still pretty preliminary here in this investigation. There's more information to come, and as we get that information, we'll get to you here on Fox 61 News. But what I do know is Dixwell Avenue will be closed for quite some time as this investigation continues. That's the latest in New Haven. Dave Puglisi, Fox 61 News.
All right, Dave, keep us updated. Phase 1B of the state's vaccination distribution is now underway. Seniors 75 and older have been able to register for their COVID-19 shots. But the state says on its website, quote, due to high traffic volume at websites and phone lines, eligible residents in Phase 1B may encounter delays scheduling appointments to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. Please try back later. Appointment availability is limited, but we will continue to open up slots as they become available. The state also saying soon other members of this phase will soon be able to schedule their shots, including frontline essential workers, people in congregate settings, people ages 65 to 74, and people between the ages of 16 and 64 with comorbidities.
Meanwhile, mass vaccination is now underway at the old Pratt & Whitney runway in East Hartford. The site officially opened up today. As Fox 61's Lisette Nunez reports from East Hartford, it's one of our state's largest locations administering those COVID vaccines.
This is the first of its kind here in Connecticut. The old Pratt & Whitney runway, now a mass vaccine site. The folks at Community Health Center says they plan on vaccinating up to 10,000 people per week.
It went very well.
This new vaccination site made possible by Community Health Inc., Pratt & Whitney, and East Hartford leaders. The site operating by appointment only, vaccinating people in Phase 1A, frontline healthcare workers and first responders, as well as people who are 75 and older and who are part of Phase 1B.
At 79 years old, I wanted to get both shots, get cleared, so maybe we stand a better chance of having a little more normal life than what we've been living through this last year. I just wanted to get my shot at my age.
The vaccine clinic has 10 drive-through lanes. The Connecticut National Guard at hand helping guide cars to trailers filled with medical staff that is ready to administer the Pfizer vaccine.
And then you're brought up, nurses ask you a few additional questions. They give you the vaccine, and then they send you along a long road because we need to keep you here at least 15 minutes to make sure that you are safe before you leave.
The site will be open 7 days a week from 8:30 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. In East Hartford, Lisette Nunez, Fox 61 News.
Celebrating Martin Luther King Jr. Today, we are commemorating the civil rights activist. His persistent and unwavering calls for social justice and equality continue to be heard today.
Dr. King's legacy is celebrated every year on the third Monday in January. It became a national celebration back on January 20th of 1986, after then President Reagan signed a bill creating the holiday. In August of 1994, President Clinton signed the Martin Luther King Jr. Federal Holiday and Service Act into law.
In Connecticut, events were held across the state today to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., including in Hartford. Bells rang out at Hartford's Urban Hope Refuge Church following a service organized by the Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Commission. Connecticut was where Dr. King found his call to public service.
In fact, he spent 2 summers working the tobacco fields of the Farmington River Valley, where he took the message of Northern integration back to the segregated South and eventually across the country, where his words inspired a movement for justice and equality that continues to this day.
If Dr. King gave his speech that he gave in 1960s, in 2021, it would apply just as today. We've made some strides, But as I've stated, neighborhoods like North Hartford have not recovered from the riots of when Dr. King died.
There's still so much more work that needs to be done. There's still so much more that needs to focus on being equal, the equality and justice that Dr. King so much talked about, and it was his ideal.
Dr. King delivered his now infamous I Have a Dream speech in 1963. He was assassinated in 1968. Also today, a permanent memorial to Dr. King was unveiled to the public right outside of the Simsbury Free Library.
To celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s life, a new mural in Manchester was completed today. Fox 61's Gabby Molina has more on the message organizers hope it will inspire.
Bringing Martin Luther King Jr.'s message to life.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed.
Artist Ben Keller painted a nearly 30-foot mural to celebrate and honor Dr. King's work.
The portrait was actually a piece that I did in my studio and just recently finished up. So I had that already designed, not intending to ever paint it larger.
It came together in just a few days with an idea that was born thanks to CT Murals, a project of the nonprofit The Rise Up Group, which creates public art.
Art has deep culture and history, and something as powerful as Martin Luther King Jr. being painted on the side of the building, like we said, there's so many messages that one can just get when looking at it.
For the town of Manchester, it's a representation of the work being done to make the community an even better one.
We are a community that's working to include everyone, and again, it has its challenges. And we sometimes have the courage to step up to face those challenges.
Following a year full of darkness, the mural will be a reminder of Martin Luther King Jr.'s words, that only light can drive out darkness.
Love will beat hate. That, that we will come together, that this country that's divided right now needs Dr. King's message more than ever.
The hope is that when people in the community see this mural, they see the values that Dr. King stood for.
Love, compassion, togetherness, all these things. So it makes you want to examine thyself and say, what can I do better so that I can ensure that the world isn't divided?
Definitely hope, strength, optimism and strength for this new year.
It's set to be officially unveiled in June during the town's Juneteenth celebrations, which has been named an official town holiday.
Free at last! Thank God Almighty, we are free at last!
In Manchester, Gabby Molina, Fox 61 News.
Gabby, thank you. Representative Geraldo Reyes has been elected chairman of the Black and Puerto Rican caucus for this year's legislative session. Reyes says that he is aware there's a lot of work to be done. He is hoping to address race inequality and COVID-19 related care and making sure the voices of African Americans and Latinos are heard. His district includes Waterbury, which is widely known for its diverse community. He told us he was able to hear the concerns in his community by being out front.
The timing could not have been more crucial. We are really in unstable times in this country, and Connecticut is out in the forefront with some of these police reforms and accountability bills that we will continue to work on in this new legislative session, but proud of the work that the legislative body has done, and in particular, especially proud of the work that the members of the Black and Puerto Rican caucus and their energy towards passing that bill.
Reyes served as vice chair for the caucus in last year's legislative session. Well, we are just a few days away from President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration. It will be held this Wednesday. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris resigned from her Senate seat today. In an op-ed, she called her time serving California an honor. We spoke with Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal about what he believes this administration will bring to America.
Beginning on Wednesday, the next president will outline specific steps, inoculating 100 million people in the first 100 days, distributing the vaccine, funding more small business development, making sure that we have another $1,400 in stimulus payments, reviving the economy, fighting the pandemic can bring us together, and specific action. Most importantly, that will, in fact, cross partisan and party lines. I'm very encouraged by the idea that his speech on Wednesday will be about healing.
We are hearing that President Trump is planning a busy last few days of his presidency. Between now and noon on Wednesday, he is expected to announce 50 to 100 commutations and pardons.
Meanwhile, there was a brief scare at the U.S. Capitol this morning. Reports initially said that there was an external security threat, but according to officials, it was just a small fire a few blocks away from the Capitol. Capitol Police put the building on lockdown after smoke from a homeless encampment caused some alarm. Part of the building was evacuated. The fire broke out under a bridge at a homeless camp less than a mile away. One person was injured. As the fire was checked out, U.S. Capitol Police, citing an external security threat, advised lawmakers and staff to shelter in place. Senator Chris Murphy tweeting about the event saying, quote, "I'm not there, but the smoke is coming from about 4 blocks south of the Capitol complex under a highway bridge. No other updates right now." Capitol Police instructed the complex to return to normal operations shortly after 11:30 a.m. But the Secret Service says there was no threat to the public and the Capitol Hill campus was never in danger.
As expected, security is tight around the U.S. Capitol. 25,000 National Guard members will be protecting the Capitol, White House, and federal property, along with Secret Service and D.C. law enforcement. Defense officials say they are vetting all of the National Guard troops out of a concern of a possible insider attack.
We want to make sure that everybody in this bubble of security that we're providing has the privilege to be there.
Already there have been arrests of unauthorized people attempting to get through checkpoints, including a man on Sunday who had a pistol without a license. And another man was found on Friday with 500 rounds of ammunition in his vehicle and a loaded gun.
Also arrested, a Stratford woman. Police say that she tried to impersonate an officer while in the nation's capital. They say 63-year-old Linda McGovern tried to talk her way through a Capitol Police checkpoint. When unsuccessful, she tried to flee and she was arrested. Authorities say the Stratford woman told police that she was an officer and part of the presidential cabinet. She presented them with a military police challenge coin. Capitol Police ordered her to turn the car off and present a driver's license, but instead, she drove up. Fox 61's Dave Puglisi spoke to McGovern's husband, who says he doesn't know much about what happened.
I get her side of the story. I had some ideas, but
Now, McGovern was taken to a D.C. hospital for mental health evaluations. She's currently in custody in Washington, D.C. Just days after a massive attack on the U.S. Capitol, the FBI warned that there could be problems in cities across the United States. A coordinated effort meant a quiet and peaceful weekend in Hartford, thankfully. Keith McGilvery has been following the response over the last 48 hours.
Just days after huge crowds and deadly violence rocked the U.S. Capitol in Washington, the FBI put all 50 states in alert for potential problems Sunday. It's a warning Connecticut public safety officials say they took seriously. It is 10 o'clock on the dot, and here you can see police putting up cones and using vehicles to prevent drivers from heading down Capitol Avenue at the intersection with Broad Street. The Connecticut National Guard joining forces with Capitol, local, and state police. Hundreds teaming up to secure the state capitol and surrounding grounds.
Our preparations and our response was parallel to what the other states are going through. Certainly you don't see us boarding up our windows as others have. Some have gone to greater lengths, some have gone to lesser lengths. We believe that we were parallel to what other states are doing and appropriate to the intelligence that we had.
Brian Foley with the Department of Emergency Services says there were no problems over the weekend. He stressed the importance of too much security rather than not enough, and says tips from the public helped.
Considering that we lost a lot of social media when they pulled a lot of the advertising about what was going to happen around the country today, we had to decide on the over protecting as to under protecting.
The heightened police presence seen and appreciated in neighborhoods nearby.
We appreciate the additional efforts, I think, just to make sure that we're all safe. And, you know, looking forward to next Sunday and realizing that this was all for naught.
Monday, Guard members were back in front of the state capitol, and we also found them standing watch at Superior Court just down the street, something that's expected to continue through Inauguration Day. State public safety officials are obviously hoping things remain calm, and they're reminding the public that if you see or hear anything suspicious, you should call their tip line. That number, 1-866 HLS tips. In Hartford, I'm Keith McGilvray, Fox 61 News.
Keith, thank you. We are following breaking news just in right now. The governor's office releasing new numbers in our state's COVID-19 fight. The state says more than 138,000 tests were completed since Friday over the weekend. About 6,700 of those came back positive for a 4.85% positivity rate statewide. Here are the numbers. 1,014 patients are currently hospitalized, which is 16 more than when we last got an update. And sadly, 76 additional deaths here in Connecticut have been reported. All right, moving along here, we want to look at what's trending right now. A moment between two legendary quarterbacks is going viral.
Yeah, we're talking about Tom Brady and Drew Brees were spotted on the field last night in New Orleans after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Saints in the playoffs. The two 40-plus-year-old quarterbacks battled it out, with the winner advancing to the NFC Championship against the Green Bay Packers. The two sharing a few moments after what will likely could be their final game against each other. And you can also see that Brees' family was there as well.
That moment going viral on social media all over the place. Talk about something else going viral. If you can believe it, you still have two chances to win a big lottery jackpot. Nobody won the Mega Millions. Nobody won the Powerball in the latest drawing. Right now, Mega Millions jackpot worth an estimated $850 million. Powerball jackpot, Jen, $730.
The Mega Millions drawing set for tomorrow, and Powerball is on Wednesday. Those numbers super high. You can watch both on the CW20.
And be sure to join us on Fox 61 tonight at 8 p.m. It's the premiere of 911, followed by the premiere of 911 Lone Star at 9. And be sure to join us for all the day's headlines and your weather with Rachel on the Fox 61 News at 10 and 11.
That is our time for now. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you at 10 and 11.